Well, welcome to another episode of Custom Climbings, where you guys can send me some basic information and your climbing goals in the description below, and I'll formulate a plan around it to help you achieve your goal, hopefully. Today we have John. He's 20 years old. He's 5'10", about 150 pounds, give or take. He's been climbing for 3 years. His problem is that on pockets, he's not the most excellent, has bad hip mobility, and he has hangboarded before, but he's never done any hangboarding concrete plan or consistency of that nature. And currently he climbs at a V6 level, which is pretty good, but he would like to climb V7 consistently. Okay, that's basically was all the information, so I'm gonna have to make my assumption starting now. Assumption number one is that you're not inherently bad at pockets. It's just the gym you climb at doesn't set enough routes with enough pockets frequently enough for you to actually become comfortable at holding pockets, and therefore anytime you're introduced to a problem that has pockets and you don't do so well on it, well, it's because you don't have enough practice with it yet. Assumption number two is that your general grip strength is just not that strong, because if you're like really strong on say 20 millimeters and you do like a one arm dead hang, pockets just are like pretty whatever. Now, of course, that does not go to say to ignore that every individual does have a particular grip type that they do enjoy doing, but if you have generally strong fingers, then generally speaking, all types of holds will feel more or less pretty okay given the level of climb you're climbing at. Like for example, a V7 pocket will be doable for you, just the same way as a V7 20 millimeter crimp on the route, if that makes sense. And assumption three, which is more of a blatant fact, is just the reason why your hip mobility isn't as excellent as one would like to think is because you don't stretch. That's about it. So with all that being said, I don't know how many times a week you climb, but I'll give you a workout that you can do about twice a week. I would recommend. It should last you about 20 minutes if you procrastinate just a little bit during the workout. Let me run you through the workout and explain why I chose the exercises I did. The first exercise is going to be done in a superset. So the first exercise of the first superset is going to be 20 millimeter, 3-finger drags, and you're going to hold it for 5 to 10 seconds. If that feels a little bit too arduous for you, feel free to keep your feet on the ground and just simply sag your body weight down, just like that. And then you're going to superset that with just a very simple pancake stretch hold for 60 seconds. After you hold the pancake for 60 seconds, you're gonna immediately hop right back onto the hangboard. And now you're gonna do that for a total of 6 sets. Second exercise is gonna be a lock off on 20 millimeters using a mixed grip. The primary grip is gonna be a half crimp, and the supporting grip is gonna be a pocket type of hold on the 20 millimeter edge. Doesn't actually have to be a pocket. If you don't feel like you have the strength, feel free to add in another finger. I recommend the pinky one. And you're going to be holding this for a lock off at 90 degrees for approximately 5 seconds. So it should look something like, ah la la, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yay. Drop off. And then once you're done with that, you're going to switch hands. Same thing. Hold it for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yay. And then superset that with, believe it or not, another round of 60 seconds of a pancake hold. You're going to do 4 sets per side of an arm, so 8 sets total, and you'll do in 4 sets of stretching. Also, no rest, and that's basically the workout. I would tack it on at the end of a climbing session, or after you get done warming up before your climbing session, or in the middle of a climbing session after you get done warming up a little bit by climbing, and I'll do this twice a week. Now, let me explain why I chose the exercises I chose. The 3-finger drag, believe it or not, is a very open hand position, much akin to holding a pocket. Therefore, you get relatively good at 3-finger drags. Your pocket should be relatively good as a side consequence, as super not specific training, but pretty close enough for the transferable results of the 3-finger drag to transfer over to the pocket to be pretty decently okay, as opposed to something say like completely open hand where you use all 4 fingers. Now, if you could tell with the pinky, in addition, the fingers are not as straight. Remove the pinky, and the fingers become a little bit more elongated, just like if you were to hold a pocket. Do you see the similarities here? Also, let me tell you, when it comes to contact strength and dead pointing abilities, capabilities, The most important grip to train in that regard, in my humble true opinion, would have to be the 3-finger drag, because whenever you're going for a particularly far reach, more often than not, only 3 fingers will come in contact with the hold, because it's too hard to get that pinky on as well, especially if you are doing a completely max out straight arm, dead point type of throw, So I think it's rather important to train just that 3-finger drag capabilities, which will transfer over to your climbing very well, no matter what type of climber you are. The second exercise I have you do is a assisted lock off mix hang at 90 degrees, like ah la 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 la. Now the reason why we do that is just to get your fingers stronger. That's legitimately it. I would like for you to be able to do a 1 arm off 20 mil at some point in time. And in case you don't know this, when it comes to hanging with your fingers as the weakest link, it's much easier to hang at a 90-degree angle off of crimps as opposed to a completely straight arm off of crimps. Something about the biomechanics just really helps engages your arms and makes the hanging much easier, especially for 1 arms. And now lastly, John, you may be wondering why you're only doing 1 stretch. Well, believe it or not, you only need to do 1 stretch in order to get your hips more mobile. You see, a wise man once said, I do not fear the man that does 1,000 stretches once. I fear the man who does 1 stretch 1,000 times. Same principle. As long as you keep practicing the pancake, it'll get better and better over time. And I have you doing this for 10 minutes straight, theoretically speaking. Now, I do understand that holding this position isn't exactly the most fun thing in the world, but stretching, I humbly believe, isn't the most fun thing in the world, no matter how you look at it. So let's add a bit of variety to what you can do when you're holding the pancake stretch. First off, what you can do is do a little bit of pulsating. What does pulsating mean? It means you go up, down, and whatever range of motion you can, just get a little sense of motion. You can also go side to side. You can also do the hold your breath for 5 seconds. Go as low as you can. Let 5 seconds pass. And then come up, or you can inhale, exhale in accordance with your breath and move along that. The key idea here is I want you to get really comfortable in the pancake position. And more importantly, in terms of the mindset of perspective, I don't want you to think of stretching as if it's a mobility or innate thing that you are born with. I want you to think of it as a free throw. So it's a skill that you must work over time. Don't think you're not flexible, just think you're not good enough, mentally speaking, in terms of the technical prowess of being able to bust out the pancake. Look at it that way. So to sum it up, you're going to do 16 sets of hanging, 6 of them which is relatively light, 8 of them which is relatively intense, for a grand total of, believe it or not, just 100 seconds of hanging if you hang 10 seconds for the first 6 sets of hanging. In accordance with that, you are also going to do 10 minutes of stretching, all 10 minutes, which are going to kind of suck. Bear with me. But look at it as a skill, not so much a mobility type of ordeal. This, all in all, should take you approximately 20 minutes to do if you procrastinate a little bit. But I will say feel free to rest longer if you need to rest longer in between your supersets, because there's particularly no need to rush, especially since this workout isn't a super long workout. So feel free to drag it on to make it 30 minutes if you like. Make it according to you and how your fingers are feeling that day. And now I do say, I reckon after approximately 2 to 4 sessions of doing this shenanigan, the first thing you're going to notice is your hips just way more flexible than what you thought prior. And then you're going to start to believe, wow, I just need to stretch more if I want to be more flexible. And that is absolutely correct. And the other thing you will notice is your fingers, specifically in the really open position. It's going to feel a lot more comfortable in terms of the tendons. And you will have a lot more confidence when you're climbing on the wall. And when it comes to your pocket strength, again, as your fingers just get stronger, your pocket strength will also increase. The only reason I would say not to specifically train pockets is unless your project, your white whale, has pockets in it and you do need to train it and you really want to do it, then I would say to specifically train pockets. But if you just think you suck at pockets, it just means, oh, well, you can always have stronger fingers. That's it. Remember, stronger fingers, always a good thing. And now lastly, I would like to address your goal of climbing V6s to becoming a consistent V7 climber. And the answer, plainly and simply, get better. Project more, become a consistent climber. Consistent climber as in you don't miss weeks and weeks for whatever reason, and then therefore you have to spend time to catch up. Focus on the skill of becoming better at becoming better, not necessarily the numbers and the digits of actually being better. And over time you will become better. If that made sense, it did to me. Yeah, no, because you just want to get good at climbing higher consistently, you just gotta become better consistently, and it'll just go in accordance with that. Yeah, no magic trick to that. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, partner.